The foundational reasons why we feel betrayed is because of violated trust. If we can manage our trust, then we probably will not fall into situations leading to the feeling of betrayal. Welcome back everyone to my channel. It's another great episode. I hope that you've been practicing all that you've been learning from this channel and using it to improve your day-to-day life. Today's episode is yet another important and sensitive topic. I'll be speaking about how to manage betrayal. And by the end of this episode, you would have learned either how to avoid falling into the feeling of betrayal, or you would have gained knowledge about how to manage the feeling of betrayal when you fall into one. Whether it's a personal letdown or a professional backstab, whether it's a close family or a colleague at work, the feeling of betrayal can shake us to our core. But don't worry, because together we would explore the depth of betrayal and you will be much stronger and wiser from this episode. Betrayal can happen when someone breaks or violates the trust, confidence, and expectation that we place on them. It involves being deceived, misled, or disappointed by someone you trust or rely on. So it means if we don't trust people, they can never betray us. This is a very important statement to put in our subconscious. You cannot be betrayed by people you don't place any form of trust on. The genesis of betrayal is placing reliance on people. Now, I can't tell you to go around working with people and not putting trust on them. It's practically impossible, because trust means relying on people, and there's no way you will work with people and not rely on them for certain things. I'll come back to deal with the trust part. For now, let's go deeper into betrayal. Betrayal occurs in various situations such as friendships, family relationship, romantic partnership, and professional situations. Let me share a few types of betrayal we can experience with you. Personal betrayal. This can occur in close relationships where one person violates the trust and confidence someone has placed on him or her. For example, infidelity in romantic relationship, or a close friend sharing your secrets with others. Professional betrayal. This includes a colleague taking credit for another person's work, leaking sensitive information, or backstabbing a co-worker to gain personal advantage. We can also have political betrayal. This can involve breaking campaign promises. I'm sure we all have felt that. Engaging in corrupt practices against one's political allies. And we can also have cultural or group betrayal. This involves acting against the interests or norms of the culture, social, or any group you belong to. There's also betrayal by omission. This occurs when someone withholds critical information, creating a deception through silence. The pain of betrayal can be profound and long-lasting. It can lead to other emotions like disappointment, anger, confusion, even trauma. The effect of betrayal depends on the depth of trust that was broken and the context in which it happens, meaning that the pain of betrayal is proportional to the level of trust placed on the person and the context of the situation. Apart from trust being a major dynamic of betrayal, there are less reasons, although associated with trust, that can lead to betrayal. For example, unmet expectations. When expectations are not communicated clearly or not mutually understood, it can lead to actions that translate to betrayal. Conflicting interest is another one. This can also lead to betrayal. For example, when two parties have opposing interests or objectives, one may prioritize his or her need over the other person's need, leading to a sense of betrayal. Betrayal can also happen when people engage in secrecy or deception. This can be from a desire to avoid conflict or gain advantage, or to protect one's self from perceived consequences. For some individuals, it's personal temptation such as money or romantic interest without considering the effect on the other person. And all of this can lead to betrayal. Manipulation, yes, manipulating others for personal gain can also lead to the feeling of betrayal. Sometimes some people act impulsively without thinking of the consequence of the action they are taking, and it can lead to a sense of betrayal. In cases like this, unfortunately, no matter how they explain, it might be difficult to understand that they acted impulsively. Other situations that can lead to the actions that would cause a sense of betrayal can be fear, peer pressure, lack of empathy, addictions, insecurity, selfishness or self-centeredness, lack of maturity, lack of personal growth. All of these can lead to actions that can create a sense of betrayal for someone. Now, with this foundation set, let us look at how we can avoid feeling betrayed, because if you don't get betrayed, you won't need to manage betrayal. And then we would look at how to manage betrayal should you find yourself in such a situation and emotion. Now, the foundational reasons why we feel betrayed is because of violated trust. If we can manage our trust, then we probably will not fall into situations leading to the feeling of betrayal. Trust is the act of relying on people for something. One of the greatest challenges of trust is that we usually think that trust should be holistic, and that is very wrong. Trust is not a holistic concept you associate with every area of your life. Let me explain. If you're my friend and I trust you with promptness, meaning you are always prompt. If you tell me that you would show up at 10 a.m., 9 out of 10 times you would always be prompt. As such, I can rely on your promptness. It means I can trust your prompt. In the same light, you always do your work excellently. I mean always. Then I can rely on your work. It means that I can trust your work. With this level of trust established in our friendship or relationship, if I turn that into a holistic perspective of trust in you, I'll be making a big mistake, because trusting your promptness should not equate trusting you with money. Trusting your consistent and excellent work should not equate trusting you with money. So if you come to me to lend money and I automatically trust that you will return it because I trust your promptness and you're excellent at work, I've made a big mistake. This is because I'm relying on you to be a honest person, especially financially, when I have no basis to rely on you in that area of life. In the same light, trusting you with money does not equate trusting you to effectively manage the opposite sex in a romantic relationship. When you know trust is not holistic, then you will guide your reliance. So when I come to you to lend money in a situation where you have not built trust financially with me, what you need to do is to test the waters. And as you know, you don't test the depth of a river with two legs. You test it with one leg. In this case, it would be better to lend me the money that you can do away with in case I mess up by not returning it as I promised. Another example is the fact that I trust you with money does not mean I should trust you with sensitive information about myself, because trust is not supposed to be holistic. When you guard your relationship with people in this light, you would less likely fall into the feeling or situations of betrayal. Now that we have established how to avoid finding yourself in a betrayal situation, let's turn to helping those who eventually find themselves feeling betrayed. Now, because betrayal is an emotion that you feel, emotional intelligence teaches that self-awareness is the first step to managing any emotional state. So the first thing to do when you're feeling betrayed is to be aware that you are having such a feeling. Emotional awareness is identifying and acknowledging emotions that you're feeling at a particular point in time. So when you say, I feel betrayed, be sure that you're aware of the feeling. You can also be aware of associated emotions. Maybe you are also feeling angry or sad or disappointed or irritated along with the betrayal. So give yourself permission to feel the emotions, but don't forget that emotions are not actions. So the first step is about permitting yourself to feel the emotion and understanding what you are feeling. We say emotions are data. So as you experience these feelings, you will definitely get messages that each emotion is carrying. Remember, emotions are neither good nor bad. It is the longevity of certain emotions, certain unpleasant emotions in our body, like betrayal, that can be bad because they are toxic. The second level of awareness you will need to manage the feeling of betrayal is to come to a realization that the event that caused the betrayal has happened already. When you don't come to this realization, you'll be thinking in reverse, wishing the situation never happened or it's not supposed to happen. And this is dangerous because you will keep brooding on the situation or the person. There's usually a difference between the actions you take when you think that something has happened already and the actions you take when you think that thing shouldn't have happened. When you think that certain situation shouldn't have happened, your actions will be inspired by the thought of reversing the situation. You will be lost in the bloom and you might find yourself fighting unnecessarily. However, when you are thinking from the perspective that the situation has happened already, then you would most likely take responsibility for what next. You will learn from your mistakes and take some important lessons away as you heal. The next step is to choose yourself, which is self-managing yourself. This is where you are able to identify the options available to you in terms of action. And one of the most important options here is to reframe your perspective about the betrayal. Reframing is a powerful psychological tool for managing the feelings of hurt and betrayal. It involves shifting your perspectives on the situation to see it in a different light, often from a more positive or constructive light. Here are some examples. You can shift perspectives from a victim to a survivor. Victim thoughts can be, I was betrayed, I'm a victim of their deceit. Whereas survival perspective can be, I have faced the betrayal, but I am resilient. This experience has made me stronger and more aware of my needs and my boundaries. You can shift perspective to focusing on personal growth. So an overwhelming narrative might be, this betrayal has broken me. I can't trust anyone again. But a growth narrative can be, this experience, while painful, is an opportunity for me to grow. I can use this to become more discerning and learn to trust my judgment better. You can shift from perspective of recognizing the complexity of human behavior instead of brooding on the person's behavior. So the terrible narrative can be, they betrayed me, they are bad people. Reframing the narrative can be, this action doesn't define the entire character, nor does it diminish my worth. You can shift perspective from blame to understanding. So blame narrative can be, they did this to harm me intentionally. But an understanding narrative can be, while their actions are hurtful, it is possible they were acting out of unresolved issues or pressures. Understanding this does not excuse their behavior, but it helps you to process it better. You can also shift perspective from end to new beginning, where the end narrative is, this betrayal is the end of everything. A reframed perspective can be, this is the closing of one chapter and starting of another chapter. I will rebuild and move forward with new insight and strength. You can shift perspective from a state of helplessness to taking control. So a helplessness narrative can be, I have no control over what has happened to me. But a control narrative can be, while I can't change what has happened, I have control over how I respond and I will reshape my future. It is also possible to reframe through a silver lining, where the original narrative can be, this betrayal has ruined my relationships. And a silver lining narrative can be, this situation has taught me who my true friends are and has brought me closer to those who genuinely care about me. You can shift perspective from resentment to forgiveness, and this is very important, such that your resentment thought can be, I can never forgive them for what they did, whereas your forgiveness thought can be, forgive them. It's not about excusing the act, but about freeing myself from ongoing resentment. I choose to let go for my peace of mind. You can also shift from a defeating narrative to a resilient narrative, where you shift from thoughts such as, I am too broken to recover from this. But a resilient narrative would be, I am capable of healing. Each day, I grow stronger and more resilient. By consciously shifting how you interpret and react to a betrayal, you can change your emotional responses. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending it doesn't exist, but rather choosing self-manage, choosing to view the experience through a lens that promotes your healing, growth, and your empowerment. Reframing is a powerful self-management tool, but it doesn't end here. Where you are not able to do this yourself, or it doesn't help your situation, then it's time to speak out. There are several reasons to speak to someone. This could be to the person in question, a family member, or a therapist. Speaking out to the person that betrayed you is simply to make the person know how you feel with what has happened. This does not mean they will agree or apologize. It might help them realize, and it might not. However, it might help you let go the burden in your mind. Discussing with a therapist will help you heal and gain clarity. Discussing with a mentor can help you gain lessons from the situation. So take that step and call someone that can give you a listening ear, because it helps. As I come to a close, you must avoid rumination in a betrayal state. Rumination is the act of continuously thinking about the same thoughts, particularly the negative ones associated with the betrayal. This can prolong the pain and impede on your healing. Here are some strategies that can help you avoid ruminating on your betrayal. 1. Use replacement strategy to avoid rumination. An example would be to create a gratitude practice, and here's how it works. Every time negative thoughts from the betrayal situation comes to your mind, you replace it with another thought that you have armed yourself with. And you can do this by writing down 3 things that you are grateful for every morning, and use those 3 gratitude thoughts as a replacement for the negative thoughts whenever the betrayal situation comes to mind. And you can do this continuously. So every time you think of the betrayal situation, you quickly replace it with a gratitude thought. It works very well. And after a while, if you continue to practice it, the negative thoughts will begin to fade away. A second idea would be to change environments that can help you avoid rumination. It is possible that certain places keeps you in the constant reminder of the situation. So changing environment can help you if that's applicable to you. Number 3, intentional physical activities at certain times of the day. If you find yourself thinking of the situation at certain times of the day, then redesign your days and activities to avoid such times where you are thinking about the situation. As I go, healing from betrayal is a deeply personal process, varying greatly from one person to the other. Each person's journey through the aftermath of betrayal is unique, shaped by their personality, past experiences, the nature of the betrayal, and their overall emotional and mental resilience. Recognizing and respecting these differences is key to understanding how people cope with and how they recover from such experiences. So give them time to heal if there's anyone like that around you. And if it's you, take your time to heal. We've come to the end of another powerful and sensitive episode. Share this episode in your WhatsApp groups with your friends and families. You never know, you can be helping someone to heal from a betrayal situation right now. As I go, have you subscribed? If not, what are you waiting for? So hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification. Until the next episode, keep practicing emotional intelligence.